First things first, we have to basically pass on to the younger generation the lessons of history. Because if those who do not learn the lesson of history are bound to repeat it. I have a 28-year-old son. I don't certainly want to send him off to some war somewhere, and I certainly don't want him to die of starvation or live in an era of climate change. So it behooves me to pass something on to benefit to him that will pass on the lessons of history. The second thing is we need to redefine the meaning of news. So far, bad news has meant bad news because that's what sells. It's not something that is necessary to be cool, it has to sell. It means it has to titillate, it has to excite, it has to sensationalize. That's what makes money these days. But that definition of news somehow has to be changed and rebalanced. The third thing is, as good journalists, we need to expose the real story. Somebody mentioned this morning, I think it was Ms. Hunt who mentioned it this morning, the importance of getting behind the lies that are being told to us by politicians, by corporations, by spin doctors. The people who lead us into today's wars need to be confronted and countered. And finally, we need to ask simple questions, simple but difficult questions. One of the key issues that comes up today is looking at it within the entire United Nations system and the Millennium Development Goals. Why is it that somebody has not asked how much of those Millennium Development Goals could have been met if all the money that has gone into funding militaries today would have been gone into funding the poverty alleviation and all these other issues that have come from there. So these are the key questions that are looking at us in terms of building peace as we go forward. Confront the lies, raise the issues, redefine news, and make leaders accountable across all, whether they're corporate leaders, political leaders, government leaders, and present the other side of the story, because these days a lot of money is being made by people who are lying to us and leading us into wars that are not good for the people who are 30 years old today. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Imtiaz, and you'll be refreshed to hear that Watergate, Berlin Wall, Vietnam means something to this 30-year-old. Now, Global Tolerance's strapline is communications with conscience. And what this means is a humanizing, heartfelt way of communicating from the heart. So now, in that spirit of communicating with conscience, I'd like to ask each of you, please, to share as much as you're willing to share from the heart about a personal anecdote of media and conflict, your experience of where media meets conflict. So if we start with you, Imtiaz. Sorry, this is Simon.
Thank you, Simon. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And just very briefly, I would like to thank UNESCO and the government of Thailand and all the people who made this gathering possible for the second time. Since Simon says that we should share our hearts, you know, and how we utilize ICTs in terms of sharing our, you know, spirit in the furtherance of peace. I would like, and I talked with Simon about this, but I would like to share a very personal story of mine, and then reflect maybe in the question with regards to what my other ideas in terms of. I come here both as an academic, but also as a peace activist and a media practitioner. And when we were talking about the issue last night, I saw that conflict management as the title maybe is not reflective of what we are going through. Maybe it should be conflict resolution. And from, you know, as a Palestinian living under Israeli military occupation and now full-fledged apartheid system, we have a peace process. We have a peace process of 16 years, but without peace. So what we're facing actually is conflict management, but not conflict resolution. And the personal story that I'd like to share is, I have went through the whole spectrum of Israeli oppression, from being shot in a student demonstration at the age of 15 in 1982, to being tortured in Israeli jails, to losing my mother, who was assassinated in October 2002 by Israeli death squads. I can't even call them Israeli Defense Forces because it was a death squad style of assassination. But I had to resort to many ways in order to tell her story to the world, and in order to use you know, the internet and ICTs, maybe to help prevent other crimes against innocent people, innocent civilians in Palestine. We created a website for her memory called remembershaden.org. Her name is Shaden, and Shaden means a young gazelle, a beautiful gazelle. Remembershaden.org. And I can share my card with you and you can look at it. But in it, a friend of mine, you know, who's a French solidarity activist, came visit me in my house, and we were talking. He goes, "Can you share your story on video?" And I said, "Okay." And I just told the story of how she got assassinated. My friend's name is Frank Barat, he's French. He went back and he took this video and he put it on YouTube, and he asked me first. I said, "Yes, you can share it." And then it went on social media, on you know, Facebook and so many other places. And now I actually took this same video and put it on my mom's website. To be honest with you, it really helped me personally, because every time people come and ask me about this tragic, my mom got killed and she died in my hands, and I got injured and my dad got injured in the same incident. And every time I told the story, I got depleted emotionally. And now I can ask people, "Can you please visit the website and listen to the story?" And it just helped me personally, not being depleted every time I tell the story. And of course, this has been shared across the board by many people who actually, you know, it's almost like a domino effect, a mushroom effect. People share their story, and now it became like a symbol of fighting oppression and really trying to expose the crimes. And just one note, because I think we need to continue the discussion. I believe the truth shall make you free, shall make me free, shall make us all free. And when we talk about peacemaking, I want to say it very important. Peacemaking does not mean that both sides should come and sit and dialogue. It means that we have to transcend the situation of victim and victimizer to a situation where there is no victim and victimizer. A lot of people come to us and say, "But if both sides sit down together, if both sides can talk," as if, you know, like, an oppressor and oppressed can sit down and talk about it and know each other, everything will be cool, everything will be fine. We have to address the root cause of the problems, and from that starting point, we can move forward. Otherwise, all what we're doing is just public relations stunts. And just last note about this, I was on a speaking tour just before I came here in Canada, and a friend of mine introduced me to a professor who's Jewish, a renowned professor of faculty in Muqbil University, very nice man. And we sat and talked, and my friend shared with him the website of my mother. And he was deeply moved. And he said, "You know what, my mom was killed on October 11, 2002. And he said, "Please, write it down and call it 10/11. Like September 11, 9/11. And he said, "Only in the United States we put the month before, you know, like 9/11. And call it 10/11 and share your story. And one person's story can illuminate so many other stories." Thank you very much. I'll start with that.
Thank you.